Oh, Nikki, we've already got a question, bro. We've already got a question.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. What size battery do we need for a 6.1 kilowatt system?
Depends. It's a bit of a tricky question.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll discuss it later. We'll get on to all the questions later, guys. We'll discuss them all. But yeah, good question. I think everyone always thinks that you need a certain size for a certain size system, but we'll discuss that later. Yeah. Thank you, Sanal. Good question. It is 2 o'clock, guys, but we're only at about half of what chose to sign up. So we'll give them another 2 to 3 minutes. At latest, we'll kick it off at 2:05. Hope you guys are all okay with that. Welcome to everyone who's joining. Thanks for joining us.
Well, Fletcher, I can see that we have more than 20 people, so you might, we can start. Let's not get so many people waiting.
All right, not a problem. Let's kick it off, eh?
Yep.
All right, hey guys, my name is Fletcher. I am one of the solar engineers here at Solar Group. I deal with all of the resellers and so hopefully you guys and all of the questions and queries that are coming in and the quotes. Basically with me today, we have Nikita Gore. He's our technical manager, dealing with all of the technical questions inside of the business. He will be answering all of your questions today. When I pause the seminar, we'll get through all the questions. Hopefully you guys will be asking. We encourage questions. And as I said previously, there is a Q&A tab at the top or at the bottom, however you've got your Zoom set up. There's a question and answer option, and we'd like you to answer questions. It'd be great. And finally, we have Roy Netzar in our showroom, who will be demonstrating the installation of the Smile B3, which we will be covering today. We're going to keep this short and sweet, guys, as it's our first webinar. We'll keep it around the 30-minute mark, give or take, because we don't know how many questions you guys will ask, hopefully a lot. This meeting will be recorded, guys, because we will be covering quite a bit of technical information and you may want to listen to it again or review it. And if that's the case, just let us know and we can get a copy of that recorded webinar out to you. We will be looking to create more of these webinars. This will be the first and hopefully many. So we would like your feedback about how we did and how we presented and what you guys would like to see in the webinar in the future. So at the end of this, we'll be sending out a feedback form and hopefully you guys can let us know what you'd like to see in these in the future. That'd be great. Let's jump into it, eh, guys? Let's get into looking at the Smile B3. All right, guys. So generally, we often ask our customers why do they have a battery at their property? And the most common answer is no. And these reasons on your screen are the main reasons as to why people do not have batteries. On the other hand, we are moving into a time and an era where people are looking to generate and store their own clean green energy and make their properties more resilient to power cuts and the like. We're talking both private property as well as commercial. So let's take a look at these reasons a bit more in depth, eh? Let's jump across. All right, guys. So the first thing here is safety. Safety comes first for us at Solar Group, as well as our partner Alpha. Lithium iron phosphate is the safest chemistry for the batteries on the market currently. And us at Solar Group, we only deal with the lithium iron phosphate batteries. Alpha, these batteries, the unique chemistry of these batteries is such that they cannot combust and create a fire, which is why for us, this is a very important point, especially for the safety of these batteries in your homes. Alpha took this unique chemistry a step further, and every single one of these batteries that is coming off the Alpha production line has an internal breaker. So even if you manage to somehow bridge the positive to the negative, you still won't be able to create a fire, which again, very key when you're putting these in your homes. The second point for these batteries is the high cost of them. And cost effectiveness is key for us at Solar Group, as well as you guys out there doing it. Originally, these batteries were extremely expensive, as you can see on the graph on your screen here. Back in 2010, the cost of these batteries was ludicrous. And as we're moving along to current times, the price is dropping. Originally, we were only able to offer these batteries at around $1 per watt hour. But we're glad to say that we can now give them to you guys at around 50 to 60 cents per watt hour, which is really, really nice. As I said previously, we will be sending around a feedback form at the end of this presentation. And on the back of that, if you would like a full list, as well as a pricing list, as well as the products and pricing, if you'd like that, just indicate to us and we can get one of those out to you. The next thing here, guys, is a lot of people complain that these systems are ugly and bulky. Well, as you can see there, Smile B3, Smile 5, and the T10, these are all very elegant and aesthetically pleasing, as well as fully wall mounted. All of these things are completely pre-wired and modular. So they're just plug and play, really good looking system, not bulky at all. Another thing we get asked is, will my system work in a power outage? Well, good to say, Alpha, all of Alpha's products are designed as a UPS, which is an uninterrupted power supply. So basically, when you have a power cut, within milliseconds, the backup will kick in and everything on the backup will continue working. I won't delve too far into that because I'll shortly be passing you over to Roy in the showroom and he will take you through that more in depth. Finally, durability. We at Solar Group have been in the market for 35 plus years. So durability is a very important point for us here at Solar Group, as well as for you guys. You want to know that what you're buying is going to last. And the Alpha batteries with the lithium iron phosphate chemistry, they are the longest lasting batteries in the market still, which is great. And once again, Alpha decided to not only rest on their laurels, they took it that step further, and they now offer a 10-year degradation warranty. So as you can see on the screen, what that means is after 10 years, if your battery has not got at least 80% of its original capacity, you will be getting another battery for free. Fantastic, great news. You can pass it on. One of the final things is the ease of install. Well, as I said, I'll leave that over to Roy in the showroom to discuss and show you how easy they can be to install. Before I just jump off and give you to Roy, I will pass you to Nikita. There's been a question from Sunil Prasad. Nikita, do you want to answer that question for him, please?
Yep. So he asked, what size battery do we need for a 6.09 kilowatt power PV system? So again, it depends on the actual property itself. If they have high power usage during the day, then obviously they wouldn't need a big enough battery. But if they do, say they're not at home during the day, then they would want to charge up the battery from the solar power as much as they can. So if no one's at home during the day, then you might be able to get away with a 6 kilowatt battery. It just depends on the actual situation on the property.
And the best way to look at it is actually to see how much they export. So if you analyze the export of the current power bill, it will give you a fair idea of what is on average the amount of kilowatt hours that they need to store. So of course in summer, the export will be higher than winter, but you can work on the law of averages and it may work up to be 10 kilowatt hours per day or 15 or 6. And that will dictate the size of the battery. That will be another good way to look at it.
Yep. And we have one more question, which we will cover a bit when Roy starts talking, but he's asking about the IP rating of the system.
All right, no worries. So, hi guys. When you open a box of the Smile B3, you will find in the box the mounting bracket with a manual and some bits and pieces to mount it, because all of these are wall mounted. Secondly, you will find the city clamps, 2 city clamps like this. Thirdly, you will find a communication cable. And in addition to that, you will find a pack of stickers. These stickers are required by the regulations to put on any battery. So these are specific stickers when you retrofit a battery to an existing house. And of course, you're gonna find the unit inside the box. So when you're looking at the unit and you open it, you'll see that the B3 is divided into 2 parts. The top part of the unit here is where all the connections are, and all the electronics and the computer and all the brain is pretty much here. And the bottom part is already a 2.9 kilowatt hour lithium iron phosphate battery built in. So this can be expandable. You can buy more of these batteries. You don't need another brain. As soon as you bought the brain, you can connect it to multiple batteries. So when we're talking about installing the unit, I will divide it into 2 parts. First of all, I will talk about installing the unit without backup, because that's very simplistic. So as you can see here on the drawing, you need to consider 4 things. First of all, the AC connection. Secondly, the city clamps connection. Thirdly, the internet. And the only other thing you need to consider is the location, where to locate the unit in relation to your main switchboard. So I'll start with the location. The restrictions will come from the city clamps. They're coming with a 10-meter data cable. We don't recommend to extend this data cable. So if you are within 10 meters, it's good. Having saying so, you can extend this data cable up to 70 meters if need be. So if you are within 10 meters from the main switchboard and the solar system is already installed onto the same circuit breakers, the best place is to put it just beside the current inverter. You can install it outside because this is an IP65 unit. You cannot install it in a livable space because it's a battery. Yes, we know that it's a very safe one, but the regulations don't allow us to install it in bedrooms, living rooms, where people are living. You can install it in a garage, in a laundry room, in a corridor, or outside. These are all acceptable. If you have particular questions, like for example, you have the solar system on the back garage with the inverter and the main switchboard in the main house, talk to us. We'll come to you with a creative idea. There's no point for us now to talk about all the different possibilities about location. So just try to keep it simple. Next to the main switchboard is advisable. It's quick. It won't take you long to install. So let's talk about the AC. When you look at the left-hand side of the unit, all the connections are here. You have to open the front cover. There are 8 Allen screws that are closing the front cover, and there are glands here. So for example, the gland to connect it to the AC is here. It's marked as grid. You take a 2.5 millimeter cable, a 16 amp circuit breaker into the main switchboard. You connect it here, and the connections, as I said, are behind this front cover, and you're done. The AC is done. Do you need to have an external AC switch? Again, same rules will apply as you do a PV. If it is not in the same area as the main switchboard, put another AC. For example, if it's outside, If it is next to the main switchboard, you don't need to, because the installation will take place in the main switchboard. Next is the city clamps. Simply, you wrap the city clamp to the car to measure the current where it is next to of the house, which is between the meter and the main switchboard. You can put the city clamp in the meter as well. You just have to meter the current of the house. The second one, by the way, is identical, so it doesn't matter which one is which, will be wrapped around the current of the solar AC circuit breaker. So it doesn't matter if you're using string inverters or micro inverters or even a wind turbine, any green energy that is generating power to the house, all you have to do is to wrap it around the 230-volt AC of that device, and it will go into the monitoring of the system. Once again, those two communication cables will go here into CT1 and CT2, and it's done. Last but not least, you need to connect to the internet. As I said before, you receive a cable in the kit, but a very popular option, actually 90% of our installers are choosing it, is this dongle. So you don't have to start running wires around the house. This dongle is simply going here, and you pair it to the router. There's a small extra cost for this dongle, nothing serious. And when you order the gear, just ask for this Wi-Fi dongle. So pretty much this is the end of the process of installing solar, the B3 without a backup. If you move on to the next slide, to install it with backup, there could be some work for you to actually split the main switchboard into two groups. We can't back up the entire house. We can only back up 3 kilowatt maximum. So the first thing you need to do is to allocate a DIM rail or a part of the DIM rail for the circuit breakers that you want to keep on during a power cut. Typically, lighting, router, a water pump, if it's a rural property, will be the ones that you're going to choose for the client to have live during a power cut. Maybe a couple of power points to charge cell phones and so on. So once you divide it, then you put them on a DIM rail. Once again, you take another 16 amp circuit breaker, a 2.5 millimeter AC cable, and you put it here into what calls backup. So imagine that now you have two main switchboards. One is the normal that we discussed before, and one is the backup, and you have two ACs going into here. This is it. No complications, nothing else. So if we go back about how to commission the unit, so we just connected the AC, we connected the city clamps, we connected to the internet. It's now time to turn on the unit. So before you turn on the unit, you need to download to your smartphone the Alpha ESS app, because this is the way you can see what's going on. The unit itself doesn't have a screen, so you need the app. It has only LED lights here that tells you if it's working well or not connected to the internet or in a fault, but you can't see anything else. You download the app. I do recommend strongly that before you do the first commissioning, calling us and we'll take you through it. Once you download the app, you will find the system according to the serial number, and it will show up offline. So now you know that you're in front of the right serial number, which is serial number is written here at the bottom, and you check your app, you match the two, and it's offline. So the next thing you need to do is to turn on the AC. The system, after a few seconds, will come live, and the first thing you do, especially if you're having this dongle, is pairing. So until you see that the system is now showing on your app online. Once it's showing online, what you need to do is to check that the parameters that you're getting make sense. For example, the load of the house, how much the solar is generating, I can compare it to the inverter that is installed, and what's the status of the battery. So if those make sense, you're pretty much done. I do strongly recommend to do one more thing before you leave the property, and it is to simulate a power cut. If you have the backup connected, just shut down the main switchboard and see that those circuits that are supposed to be on UPS continue to work, the lights and the router and the fridge and those things that you put on the backup. And if this test is going well, it means that everything is working fine, and you can pretty much put the stickers on the unit and sign it off, give the client your COC, and it's all done. So that's pretty much it. As I said, it's very, very simple. It's all in one: AC, city clamps, internet, and she's going. So it's now time for questions, I guess.
Yep. We have quite a lot of questions, so I'll just start. We have Mark and Damien asked, is there any other systems that can supply more than the 16 amps?
So the answer is yes. Over here, you can see the Smile 5 system. This system is capable to back up 5 kilowatts. And this is from a backup point of view, I guess, the question is. This system is not just a battery backup, I'm going to show. It's also an island inverter. So this system has both an island inverter as well as a battery charger. So this system is capable to continue and charge the battery even during a power cut. So this system is the next level up. And we normally recommend it when people don't have solar at all.
That kind of leads on to the next question. If the power goes out, then usually the string inverter stops working. So does that mean the battery will not charge? i.e. if the power went out for weeks, then would we only get one battery cycle with the B3?
Correct. This is definitely correct. If people are looking for a high level of resilience, they should look for the Smile 5 because it has an island inverter. But even then, there are limitations. It's not going to behave like an off-grid, but it will give you the ability to recharge the battery during the day and use it during the night and do this cycle again and again. When we had this 2 years ago, the 4, 5, 6 days power cut in Auckland, we had a few customers that had alpha, and they managed to go throughout the whole of the power cut by charging and discharging the battery. So if you're looking for a high resilience, you should look for the Smile 5. The B3 is only good for short power cuts, which are more typical, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours power cuts.
Yep. Thank you. Another one. So with outside locations in winter with low temperatures below 0, what do you reckon for lithium batteries?
So if you install a battery outside, it should not be in any sub-zero temperatures or above 40 degrees. You should not put it exposed directly to the sun, for example, and it should not be under the snow if you're installing it in Wanaka or Queenstown. Therefore, climatizing it is best if you can have it in a garage. If you put it in a shed, it should be a shed that is isolated, having some good insulation, so the temperatures do not get below 0. Any battery below 0 is not working correctly. It's going to start misbehaving or working to less capacity. And of course, on the other extreme, above 50 degrees, I like to call it 40, but 50 is what the brochure is saying, is also a very bad zone for the battery to operate. So just, they're spoiled, if you want to look at them that way. So keep them in-house is better.
Keep getting questions, but another one is, can you charge from multiple generating sources, i.e. a string inverter and a wind turbine?
The B3 is a fairly basic device. It only comes with one city clamp. So if you're joining those two generators, like for example, the solar and the wind turbine into the same combiner box, and you can measure the AC of both of them, then what you will see on the graph, which Nikita will show you in a minute, you will see the combined generation of both sources. However, we cannot demonstrate or show each one of them separately.
Awesome. Another question is the B3 okay for surges on the water pump in backup mode?
Again, if the surge is below 3 kilowatt, it will take it. I've seen the pumps that are 400 watts on the label that spark all the way to 2 kilowatts. So if that happens in the same time as your fridge is going and some other things are going, you may actually cause the system to stop working. And don't forget that you can always install on the pump a relay that will actually shave that spike. So we do, if you want more information, you can ask us later on the feedback. We can show you how you can get rid of those spikes of pumps, because they can be, especially old pumps, it can be quite vicious. It can spike quite a lot and cause issues.
Another question is, does installing a battery on an existing solar system require an inspection?
Say it again?
Does installing a battery on an existing solar system require an inspection?
No, it's not. You're not interfering anymore. Like, the answer is no. You only need a COC to comply.
And the last one regarding installation is, how much volume do we need to install? i.e., can we install it in a wardrobe or built in a cupboard?
Ventilation is important. There are on the installation manual, you will see that you need to have a gap of 300 millimeter on each end, and I think 500 or 200 and 300, I'm not sure, but it needs to be aired. So if you install it in a cupboard, make sure that it's ventilated, but don't put it in a confined box, because again, the issue is if you're getting to those 50 degrees temperature, and that's something that you want to avoid.
Okay, that's it regarding the B3 installation questions. Get back to the rest and carry on. So,
all right, Fletcher, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Roy. Thanks very much for that. Thanks for your question, guys. Really appreciate it. Let's keep going on. So as Roy mentioned, the ease for the client to operate, he did briefly mention that, Nikita, that we have a great application on our phones. I'll pass you over to Nikita, who will run you through all of the monitoring software and show you what it's all about. Nikita, let's have a look.
Hi, guys. So as Roy said, the Alpha ESS monitoring system is not just for monitoring. It's actually an interface system, which enables you to do many things. One of them is, once becoming an Alpha ESS retailer, you'll be able to check on all your clients on one screen. This shows the serial number of the unit and the username of their account, their system status, what battery and systems they have, where they're located. It also can show you it also gives you the ability to see real-time power distribution on the property. Shown here on this graph. As you can see, green shows the battery charge and discharge. Blue shows the load on the property. Orange shows the solar generation. Red shows any solar export. And brown shows any grid usage. With the monitoring portal, you, Solar Group, and the clients can detect any issues or faults. This means Solar Group and Alpha ESS can provide remote technical support, which means 80% of the problems can be resolved remotely. No need for your van on site. Alpha ESS can also upgrade the software and features remotely when the system is connected to the internet. Customers and installers can control the battery charge and discharge settings from the monitoring portal on their computers or on their personal smartphone. Awesome.
There are a few questions, Nikita.
Yep.
Someone has said, I have installed a couple B3 Smiles and they do out a bit of noise worth mentioning.
Okay, this came from an anonymous attendee. Basically, the old versions of B3 used to have a fan that was indeed a little bit noisy. That has been improved. So all the current models having a fairly quiet fan. If this is an issue, we can send an upgrade kit to this particular client for free.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Roy. That's all the questions for now.
And there is another question. Does it black start the B3?
I think he's regarding the Smile 5. I think
B3,
that's why.
I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, well, black start, for those of you that don't know, it's when the battery actually completely crashes and you need to restart the whole system. The B3, basically, if you completely empty the battery, the only way to basically recharge it is to supply back the grid, which means that it has to come from a grid or from a pure sine generator. If it's not a pure sine, it will ignore it. It will think that it's a noise. So if you do have the ability to have a flick switch to a pure sine generator, potentially you can black start it. Otherwise, it's not possible.
All right, thank you very much, Roy. That's all the questions for now. Appreciate that. All right, guys. The one of the other questions I commonly get asked here at Solar Group is how do our batteries compare to the Tesla? And as you can see on the screen here, we have a comparison between the Alpha ESS and the Tesla Powerwall. As you can see here, we have highlighted the lifespan and the safety. We previously discussed the safety with the lithium iron phosphate technology, but the lithium iron phosphate technology and the chemistry, they are currently the longest lasting batteries on the market, and we at Solar Group, we only use lithium batteries. These, for us at Solar Group, as well as for Alpha, we believe that lifespan of your product, as well as the safety in your home, these are the two main features which we would like to focus on and keep good for you. As you can see, the specific energy of the Tesla Powerwall does outdo the Alpha ESS battery. But what that means is energy per weight, energy per kilogram. Now, you have to keep in mind that Tesla was originally created and designed for mobile applications, such as their cars. So for them, weight was a big factor. You can see they're a lot lighter than our batteries. But when you think about the fact that we're putting our batteries in a beautiful casing and they're sitting there, not shifting around, not that big of a point. We'd rather keep your battery lasting for a longer time and keep you guys safe in your houses. All right, guys, that basically wraps us up today with the Smile B3 retrofit system. We hope you guys enjoyed looking at it. Roy briefly in the showroom touched on the Smile 5. This is our most popular and our best seller. It is a islanding inverter, which I think someone asked previously whether it charges in a blackout. Well, that is exactly what the Smile does. And finally, we have the T10. This is currently the only three-phase real-time phase balancing product on the market. And this is the end of the wall mounting systems. We next skip over to the off-grid solution. This is the OF5. It is also capable of being hooked into a generator and having that. So if the batteries get a bit low with a lack of sunlight, the generator will auto start and top the batteries up. And finally, we have the commercial range. Okay, we've simply given you guys today a small taste of one of the products that Alpha offer. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you learned a lot. As we said, we will be sending you out a feedback form and hopefully a prices and products list. And there's one question here, Nikita, from a guy that's saying, what are the prices when compared to Tesla?
Yep. So
well, the price list is, I think that the additional information in the feedback form is already gone, is it?
Yep, I just clicked send, so you should have all received.
So we do have a full price list, but pragmatically speaking, we do have 10.1 kilowatt hour battery, which is probably the closest one to Tesla. The cost of this battery is $7,700 to the customer, not to you as an electrician, compared to a Tesla, which is $15,000. So there is quite a fair gap between Tesla and Alpha ESS. However, we give you three options of sizing: 2.9, 5.7, and 10.1. So this is something that Tesla doesn't offer. They only offer one size, which is 14.4 kilowatt hour.
Awesome. That's the only question currently. Thank you very much, Roy. We'd just like to keep in mind that this is a very fast growing industry, and we at Solar Group believe that solar is the energy of the future. Hopefully we will see you guys in the future webinars. Oh, sorry.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers.